you do have a yoga block, you might like to have it for the practice today. If you don't have a yoga block, you could use anything you can find around your house that can be used as a block. It's more for support today. So even something like a water bottle, something that's quite solid, or you can find a big book. But you can also sit on it if you want to, or you could sit up onto a cushion or a folded blanket. So let's start with a nice long spine. You can take a full breath in through your nose as best you can. And then letting that breath fall out as perhaps you let your eyes softly close. And let your shoulders relax. Let your face soften. Even turning the eyes down towards the floor can help to draw our attention inwards. And our yoga practice can provide this wonderful opportunity to turn in, to turn towards the wisdom within, letting whatever's happening in the external world just fade into the background for a while. And that's not in any way a running away from what's out there, which at the moment can sometimes be a little overwhelming, pulling us in different directions. But it's turning towards our own experience of what's happening in the world. And turning towards our own experience of simply our breath. Turning towards our experience of the movements that we make in the class. Whatever is happening in the present moment. And that really is what yoga is about uniting our awareness with our experience. So as you set yourself an intention for your practice today, you might like to commit to this practice of bringing the awareness into your experience. Notice when your mind might get distracted. And let go of any judgment around that and just keep bringing it back. And let's begin by taking our focus down to where our body is in contact with the earth, and you might even place a hand down on the ground. On honoring and acknowledging the traditional owners of the country that we're on. For me, I'm here on the lands of the Taungurung and the Dudaroa people. I acknowledge their elders past and present and those emerging. And thank them for their custodianship of these unceded lands. And you can bring your hand back up from the ground, be taking both hands up towards the sky for a nice big stretch out. And then bringing your hands down, and we're going to make our way over onto all fours to start. So you can pop yourself off whatever you were sitting on, just pop it to the side, bring yourself over to a tabletop position, and find your hands underneath your shoulders, spreading your fingers, softening through your elbows. And then we'll start to just take a few circles with the hips. So circling your hips around in one direction a few times and just noticing what's present. And then changing direction and moving back the other way. And you can stay with this, or if you feel like you'd like a little bit of a wrist stretch, you can turn your hands around, so turn them externally so that the fingertips start to point towards you, and it might not be all the way, and then take another round of circles in one direction and back the other way. Maybe 3 in each direction. And then turning your hands around again. We'll just take a cat-cow here. So spreading the fingers, drop your belly, lift your tailbone, draw your chest forwards. And then as you exhale, press your hands and shins into the ground and round through your back. And then come back to your neutral spine. We'll take the left leg back behind you. So extend that leg all the way back, extending the heel back behind you, and just making sure that there's a nice long line along your body. So keep your lower ribs drawn in. Don't let them kind of collapse towards the floor. And then maybe there your right hand can also reach forwards, stretching your fingertips away from that back foot. Don't let the left hip drop. So keep it lifting. One more breath there. And then take both the hand and knee back to the ground again. Take a cat-cow. Drop your belly, lift your tailbone and chest. Exhale, round through your spine. Come back to your neutral spine again. We'll take the right leg back, extending it back. Seeing if you can lengthen back through that right heel. And keep the hips nice and square. Maybe the left hand reaching forwards. Nice and long through the back of your neck, so not crunching it. And keep breathing. So find that steady rhythm of breath in through the nose and out through the nose. Maybe that Ujjayi breath. Starting to find that rhythm that's going to support you through the practice. One more inhale. And then hand and knee back to the ground. Take an inhale to lift your chest, lift your tailbone. Exhale, round through your spine. And come back to your neutral spine. Let's come straight into downward facing dog now. So tucking your toes, lift your hips all the way up and back, and press the floor away with your hands so that you lengthen out through your spine. And you can take a little bit of movement through your legs here, maybe bending one knee and drawing the opposite heel towards the floor. And just stretching out through the backs of your legs a little bit, maybe drawing the heels a little further to the floor, knees as bent as they need to be to find that length through your spine. So press into the thumb mound, draw your inner armpits towards each other. Inhale there. Exhale there. Come onto your toes, ripple forwards to plank, and you can always drop to your knees here straight away. Take a breath in. Exhale, back downward facing dog. Again, come onto your toes. Ripple forwards to plank. Inhale. Exhale, back downward facing dog. Maybe making it a little bit faster. Couple more. Inhale forwards. Exhale back. And then one more, rippling forwards, looking forwards of your hands. Exhale back, downward facing dog. And then step your feet all the way forwards towards your hands. Give your wrists a little roll, rolling them in one direction and back the other way. So if down dog ever feels, or plank ever feels too much on the wrist, you can always drop down to your knees to take that pressure out. Take a little walk with your hands from side to side in this forward fold. If your lower back's feeling sensitive, hands on the block or can be really helpful. And then come back to neutral, ground through your feet, all four corners of your feet, and then start to roll yourself all the way up to stand. So rolling the spine up nice and slowly, seeing if you can articulate each vertebra of the spine, and then sweep your hands up, stretch up towards the sky. Take a breath in there, reaching your fingertips up. As you exhale, bring the hands down, roll back down through forward fold. And take a halfway lift, draw your heart forwards. And then let's step the feet all the way back and find plank again. Lowering down to your knees, bend your elbows, come down onto your belly. Let's take a little mini cobra here. So pressing into the tops of your feet, lift your chest, roll your shoulders back, and perhaps just lifting the hands very slightly off the mat. Take a breath there. Lower yourself back down again. And then inhale to press back up onto your knees. And then back to downward facing dog. Let the breath out. Step your feet back forwards towards your hands again, lifting your chest. And then folding down. Just noticing each time you forward fold, you turn that attention towards the heart, drawing towards the floor. See if you can find a little more depth. Rolling all the way back up again. Sweep up, reach up. Hands to the heart. And so inhale, sweep up. Exhale, soft knees as you roll down, supporting your body with your legs and your core. Halfway lift. Heart draws forward, lengthening the spine, and then step back to plank. Take a breath in there, maybe staying on the toes for a moment. And then if you need to drop the knees down, lower yourself all the way down to your belly. And then press up into cobra. Hands pressing into the mat this time. You might walk them a little bit further back as you draw the elbows in and scoop your heart forward. Ground through the tops of your feet. Inhale. Exhale, lower back down. Inhale to press up onto your knees, or maybe pushing all the way up into plank. And lift your hips up and back, down dog. Full breath in. Full breath out. Pressing the floor away with your hands to lengthen, and then stepping your feet all the way back to the front of the mat. Draw your heart forwards, hands can walk to shins. Exhale, fold. Let your head relax down. Give it a shake, no, a nod, yes. Ground through your feet, roll yourself all the way back up again. Sweep up, reach up, Surya Namaskar. Exhale, hands to the heart. One more time, inhale. Rolling down, finding that forward fold, Uttanasana. Ardha Uttanasana, heart draws forward. Step your way back to plank and lower down straight away, this time in through Chaturanga. So you can come to your knees, or you could stay on your toes and lower down halfway. Inhale, lift your chest. Exhale, press back, downward facing dog. Breathing in. As you breathe out, really press the floor away with your hands and draw your chest towards your thighs. Step your feet back to the front of the mat, halfway lift. Lengthening through the back body as you forward fold. And then roll up, reach up, sweep up. Hands to your heart. Let's come down into Utkatasana, chair. So feet hips distance apart, sink your hips down and back, bending the knees, sweeping your arms up as high as you can go. Fingertips draw forwards and the tailbone draws back. And just find that lift through the center of your body. So drawing up through the inner arches of your feet and your legs, drawing up through the pelvic floor, soften your shoulders and your jaw. Inhale. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift. And then step your feet back to find plank. Shift forwards, lower down through Chaturanga, or you can press straight back to downward facing dog here. Lifting up to your up dog or cobra. And then pressing back, downward facing dog. From downward facing dog, we'll take three-legged dog, right leg to the sky. As high as you can reach it. See if you can feel as though you were being lifted up from that right big toe. Grounding through your hands at the same time. Inhale there. Step that right foot forwards between your hands. Ground your left heel. Warrior one, Virabhadrasana one. Hips and shoulders facing towards the front of your mat as you reach your hands up. And ground through the outside edge of that left foot so you can really feel this stretch up through the left side of the body. Inhale there. Left glute engaged. Exhale, hands back to the mat, stepping back to find downward facing dog. You can flow if you like between sides, Sri Vinyasa. And then when you come back to downward facing dog, left leg to the sky, lifting up from that left big toe, press the floor away with your hands. Take an inhale there. Step your left foot forward, right heel grounds, press up, warrior one. Find that length through your body, so drawing in through the lower ribs, sweeping your hands to the sky, hands apart together. One more breath there. And then hands all the way down to the mat, stepping back to find your plank, coming through Chaturanga here, or pressing straight back to down dog. And then let's, from downward facing dog, bend your knees, look forwards to your hands, step or lightly float your feet towards your hands, halfway lift, and then fold forwards. Roll yourself all the way up, sweep your hands to the sky, and then bring hands to the heart. Coming back down into chair, sink your hips down and back. Exhale, forward fold. Lift your chest, Ardha Uttanasana. And step all the way back to fine plank. Again, coming through Chaturanga, lowering down all the way or halfway, lifting up to your back bend. Exhaling, rolling over the toes or finding your knees, pressing back into downward facing dog. Step your right foot forwards between your hands. Step your left foot in a little bit and then come up warrior one. Bringing your hands down towards your hips. We're going to straighten that right leg, draw the right hip back and fold forwards. So just make sure that the weight is a little bit into the front foot so that this nice stable pelvis to fold forwards. You want to avoid swaying the hips from side to side. You can take your block if you like, hands on a block as you forward fold, or you might be able to take your hands to the floor and fold over that front leg. Breathing in, breathing out. One more breath. Bend your front knee. Take an inhale, press all the way back up again. Find warrior one. And then from there, open to warrior two. So opening your arms, making sure that right knee stays over the right ankle, arms reaching out at shoulder height. Shoulders over your hips. So you might just need to adjust yourself so that you're nice and stable. Take a breath in. As you breathe out, straighten your right leg and come to Trikonasana, tilting to the right. Right hand down, either onto a block or onto your shin, left hand to the sky. Lengthen your head, top of your head forwards towards the front of your mat and anchor down through your feet. Take an inhale. As you exhale, maybe you turn your head up towards the sky, towards your left thumb. Take one more breath here. And then bend your front knee, press into your feet, inhale back up through warrior one, spin your right palm to the sky in reverse. And then windmill your hands down and come to a runner's lunge. So taking the hands to frame your front foot, drop your left knee down and bring your hands to your heart. Let's twist here, taking the left elbow to the outside of the right thigh. So twisted lunge, draw your heart towards your hands, grounding through your left shin or tucking your left toes under and then pressing up. So lifting that back knee off the floor. Nice and strong through the legs. Keep drawing your right hip back. Maybe looking over your right shoulder. Inhale, exhale here. In through the nose and out through the nose as best you can. Nice and strong through those legs. And then drop that back knee back down. Inhale back to center. Reach your hands up. And then hands down to the mat. Stretch it out. So send your hips back. And then lift your right toes off the floor. Coming back forwards to your lunge. Step your weight all the way back. Find downward facing dog. You can take a little bit of sway from the hips here. Or you might come through a vinyasa, shifting forwards to plank, lowering through chaturanga. Lifting up through your back bend. Press back downward facing dog. Left foot steps through between your hands. Right foot steps in a little way. Press up. Find your short warrior one. Hands to your hips. Left hip drawing back. So square the pelvis and then start to tilt forwards. The weight's ever so slightly into that front foot. You can take your hands to your lower back and sacrum just to check that it feels stable. And then your hands might come to a block or to the floor as you fold over that front leg. And so really using the legs as a nice solid foundation to find that fold and that length through the spine. Allowing the back of your neck to lengthen, your face to soften. Next inhale, we're going to bend that front knee, come back up again, nice and strong through the legs, sweep your arms up, and then open to warrior two on the other side. So I'm going to shift around so you can see me. And lengthening out through both hands. Take a breath in here. And straighten your left leg, and then fold down into your Trikonasana. So tilting from the hips, left hand down, right hand to the sky. Pressing down through both feet, inhale there. Lengthen through your spine, then roll that right shoulder back, maybe looking up towards your right thumb. Two more breaths here if you can. Make sure that left knee is still pointing straight towards the front of your mat. So you keep rolling that left thigh open. And then let's bend the front knee, press into your feet back up again. Reverse warrior, reach your left palm up and back. And then we're milling your hands down to the ground. Find a runner's lunge here, and then drop your right knee down. Come up into your lunge, your twisted lunge, hands to your heart. Take your right elbow to the outside of your left thigh now. It's anchoring down through that back shin and back foot, or perhaps tucking the toe and lifting the knee. Stack your elbows and press into your hands to twist. Noticing where your attention is right now. When we're working the body hard, it can be easier to be present. We're less distracted. And when we do get distracted, we find that maybe we become a little more wobbly, a little less able to strengthen and find that foundation, that balance. Stay with the breath, stay with the body. Press your torso away from your thigh. One more breath. Dropping down to that back knee, bring yourself back to center, reach your arms up, stretch up. And then hands framing your foot, send your hips back, stretch out through the back of that left leg, lifting the toes perhaps as you fold forwards. And bring yourself forwards again into your lunge and then step back. Find your downward facing dog, rounding through the hands, tuck your toes, lift your hips up and back. Inhale, exhale there. And then bending your knees, look forward, step your feet all the way to the front of the mat, halfway lift. Exhale to fold. And sink your hips deep, sweep your hands up into chair, Utkatasana. Exhale, stand up, hands to the heart. Let's take an inhale, come down into chair again. Exhale, forward fold. Halfway lift here, inhale. And then step your way back to find plank. Either straight back to downward facing dog or move through your vinyasa again. Listening into what your body needs today. Listening to that wisdom. Meeting in downward facing dog, step your right foot through between your hands. Bring your left foot to the floor, a little in towards your right foot. And then press up into warrior one again. Bring your hands to your hips, straighten your right leg. Let's tilt forwards. This time you can grab your block or whatever you're using instead of a block. And left hand comes to the block, right hand comes to your hip. So the block can be quite close to your right foot. You can even have it on the outside of the right foot. Just feel into where feels right for you to find your support. Draw your right hip back. Weight ever so slightly into that back foot as you draw your heart forwards, and then spin your chest towards the right side, the twisted triangle. Inhale and exhale there. Maybe finding a little bit more twist through the spine, and perhaps you can release your right hand up towards the sky. Anchor down through both feet and keep breathing. So keep lengthening your heart forwards. And twisting that heart towards your right side. Let your neck relax. Maybe your head turns up towards the right thumb. One more breath. Beautiful. Bring your right hand down. Little fold forwards over that front leg again. Inhale. Exhale. Bend the front knee. Bring yourself all the way up into your warrior one. And then take your hands down beside you. Find a arrow shape with the arms down beside your body, heart drawing forwards. Take a breath there. And then either staying here or lifting that back leg up off the floor. So lifting that leg up, drawing your heart forwards. And staying here for a moment before we transition into half moon. So turning your left toes towards the left side. Right hand coming onto your block again, this time to the right side of your right foot. And then left hand to your hip. If you've got a wall near you, you can even bring yourself onto a wall behind you for support. Press your left heel away from you. Left hand might extend towards the sky. Keep breathing. One more breath in. One more breath out. And then bend that front knee, step your way back, find warrior two. Nice. Right elbow down to the right thigh, left arm reaching up and over the top to find a side angle, lengthening out through that left side of the body. Take an inhale here. Exhale. Inhale back up, reverse warrior, reach that right hand up to the sky. And then windmill your hands all the way down to find your lunge plank, downward facing dog. Maybe you flow. Maybe it just feels good to reach that right leg up to the sky, bend the knee and take some circles with your right knee, easing out through that hip. If you need to come down onto your knees, rest in child's for a couple of breaths, feel free to. Coming back to your downward facing dog, we're going to step the left foot forwards, drop the right foot in slightly, come up warrior one. And then from there, straightening the left leg. Hands to your hips. Start to tilt forwards, right hand coming down onto the block. And then starting to find your twisted triangle from here. So anchoring down through the feet, weight slightly into that back foot, make sure the hips stay nice and square, and then start to spin your chest towards the left side. Keep breathing. Really feel this shape in the body. If you can extend your left hand to the sky, extend it there, maybe look up towards it. Noticing how each little shift in the shape can affect you. I'm going to stay here for 2 or 3 more breaths if you can. Notice what's present. Let it be. Bring yourself all the way back to center and fold over that front leg. Another couple of breaths there. And then bend your front knee and ground through both of your feet. Lift yourself back up, find warrior one. And then let your arms come down beside you to find arrow, heart drawing forwards. Take a breath in here. And then option to lift that back leg off the floor, grounding through your standing leg, nice and strong through that left glute. From there, turning your right toes towards the right side, left hand coming down either to the floor or to your block, right hand to your hip. Staying here or really rolling your chest towards the right side, right hand floating to the sky. Another breath. And then slowly stepping back, find warrior two, arms reaching out to the side. Take your left arm down to your left thigh, right arm reaches up and over and really extend through the right side of the body, spinning your chest up towards the sky. And then reverse warrior, reach up and back. Both hands to the mat. Step your way back, find plank. Come down through a vinyasa here, or straight back to downward facing dog. From downward facing dog, stepping your feet all the way towards your hands, halfway lift. Exhale to fold. I'm going to take Padangushtasana here, index and middle fingers wrapping around your big toes, and then the thumb coming around to meet. So the palms are facing towards each other. Ground through your feet. Take an inhale, lift your chest. Your knees can be as bent as they need to be here. And then as you exhale, let the elbows bend and fold forwards. And obviously, if this feels too strong, it's coming into a supported forward fold with hands on the block. And so think about the inhale, finding length through your heart. Exhale, finding a deeper fold without forcing. Allow the back of your neck to soften, your jaw to soften. Lifting your tailbone up towards the sky. And then release your feet. Soften the knees. Roll yourself all the way back to stand again. Sweep your hands up, reach up. And hands to the heart. Let's come down into chair. Sink your hips down and back. Sweep your hands up. And then bring your feet together, bring your hands together. And let's take a twist, left elbow to the outside of right thigh, sinking the hips down and back. Draw your heart towards your hands, looking up over that right shoulder. And from here, if you can, we're picking up the left foot and then taking that left foot back into a lunge. So finding your twisted lunge here. You can take your hands down to the floor for a little bit of extra support if you need to. And we're making our way back into that lunge. And if you drop that back knee down, take it down. Another breath here. And then bring yourself back to center in your high lunge. Reach your hands up. And then let's take the hands down. We're going to grab our block again. And take the left hand to your block, just in front of your front foot and to the left side. And then we're going to take the left foot off the mat, extend the heel away from you. And we're coming into twisted half moon. So nice and strong through that standing leg. Start to spin your chest over to the right side. Right hand reaching up towards the sky. There's so much going on in this shape. It's really hard to think about anything else. And spreading that foot on the floor. Extend your back heel behind you. And remember to breathe. Maybe even a little turning up of the corners of the mouth this morning. One more breath. And then stepping your left foot down to join your right foot. Come into forward fold, maybe a little sway of the hips from side to side. Walking your hands from side to side. Let's come down into chair again. Sink the hips down, sweep your hands up. Heel toe the feet together, hands to your heart. Twist in the other direction, right elbow to the outside of left thigh. Drawing up through the lower belly, through the inner thighs. And then pressing your heart away from your thighs. Make sure the hips and knees stay in alignment. Either taking the hands down for support to step the right leg back, or seeing if you can really lift up through the pelvic floor, ground through your left foot, pick up your right foot, even just little mini steps to take it back behind and find your lunge. And then reset, drawing your heart to the hands. And let's come back to center. High lunge, reach your hands up. And then preparing to come into our twisted half moon. Parivrita Ardha Chandrasana. Right hand down onto your block. Right leg lifting, extending that right heel behind you. And really squaring the hips here, so don't let the right hip, the right leg drop. And draw your heart forwards and then start to twist your chest over to that left side. And as you twist, watch the leg doesn't start to drop. So keep extending that heel back behind you. Keep drawing your heart over towards the left side and keep breathing. Doing awesome. And put a bet that the mind is nowhere else but right here. And then let's step the right foot down to join the left and have a little sway from side to side. And as you come out of the shape, letting go of any stories about how well you could do that. It's not a thing. So as you come into this shape, into this forward fold, be here for this. Fully present with breath. Let's take a halfway lift here. Exhale to fold. And stepping your feet all the way back into plank. You're going to lower down nice and slowly towards the floor, either dropping your knees or coming down on your toes. So 5, 4, draw the elbows in, 3, draw the heart forwards, 2, and then 1. All the way down onto your belly. Bring your hands underneath your head and just give your hips a little sway from side to side as you allow your body to settle on the mat. Let's take a couple of back bends from here, countering some of those deep forward folds and twists that we've been doing. So letting your arms come down beside you and bring your chin to your mat. I'm going to come into a locust. So you can keep your feet on the floor if you like, pressing the big toe down, tops of the big toes down. And then lifting your chest, lifting your arms, lifting your head, drawing the heart forwards. And breathe in and breathe out. Press your pubic bone down into the ground. And if it feels okay here, you can lift your legs up too, drawing the inner thighs towards each other. Keep breathing. Perhaps you interlace your fingers behind you and lift up a little higher. Seeing how high you can lift the leg, how high you can lift the chest. Be here for the experience. One more breath there. Lifting up maybe a little higher for you. And then lowering all the way back down. Let your arms come beside you, perhaps one ear turning towards the mat. And then bring your chin back to the ground, arms down, palms face to the floor. We'll do a second round. So again, it can be feet on the floor. If you prefer to come into maybe a cobra instead, your hands can come down to support you. Otherwise, finding our way back into our locust. And if you want to, you could come into bow here, bending your knees, taking your feet to the outsides of your ankles, your hands to the outsides of your ankles, and then draw your inner thighs towards each other and lift up. Pressing the feet back into the hands as you open through your chest. Without forcing. Couple more breaths here. One more. Slowly lowering down before you release, arms down beside you, opposite ear to the mat. And then from there, take your hands underneath your shoulders, bring your head back to center, and slowly make your way back into child. And make it a nice slow movement back so that you can really feel the transition from the back bend to the forward bend. Awareness remaining centered in your body, even as we start to slow things down. You might notice if it feels easier to keep your mind focused, or perhaps it feels a little harder. And taking a couple more breaths here in Child's, allowing the body to relax and yield to the ground. And finding that nice smooth breath in through the nose, out through the nose, encouraging your body to settle. You can slowly start to walk your hands towards you and come up into a seat. And take your legs out in front of you. And if you've got something you can sit up onto, it can be quite good here. We're going to take our legs wide, so feel free to readjust yourself on your mat so that this feels comfortable. Taking your legs as wide as is wide for you, and trying to bring yourself towards the front of your sit bones. So your legs might need to come a little closer together for you to feel that, rather than kind of leaning back and letting the spine kind of round. And if you need to sit up onto a block or a cushion, feel free to do that. And then extend your heels away from you, coming forwards into Upavista Konasana, this forward fold. So you can start to walk your hands forwards. It might just be resting on your hands. You might be fairly upright here and feeling enough sensation through your inner thighs. Take a breath in. If you feel like you can go deeper, it's your invitation to start to walk the hands forwards, but be present for whatever you feel. One of the beauties of practicing at home is actually allowing ourselves to turn in more, not to get caught in comparing ourselves to those around us. Yoga is always about our inner experience. What's happening in the tissues in your body? How might you adjust this shape to create the juiciest stretch for you, to make sure that your body is supported and not injured? Where do you feel the lengthening? Where might you feel resistance? A couple more breaths there. And then walking your hands all the way back towards you again. And just use your hands to support you here by taking them under the backs of your knees and just lifting your knees and bringing the feet together. And you can take a moment with your feet flat onto the floor, maybe just rounding forwards over your legs, allowing your legs to come back into more of a neutral position. You're welcome to stay sitting up on your height, your block or your blanket. And we're going to extend the legs out in front and come into one more forward fold here into Paschimottanasana with the feet, the legs together. You can still keep them a little apart if you need a little more space, if that feels more comfortable. Again, drawing yourself towards the front of your sit bones, take your hands up, extend your heels forward. Take a breath in, and as you breathe out, starting to fold, taking your hands either to the ground or to your feet. And as you inhale, imagine that you're being drawn forwards, lengthening through your spine from the sit bones to the top of your head. And then let the exhale escape, perhaps creating the conditions for a little more depth. Couple more breaths here. And then walking your hands all the way back up again, bend your knees up towards you. And we're going to roll down onto our backs. So you can use your hands to support you, or you can take your hands out in front of you and see if you can roll your spine down. Again, articulating the spine, drawing up through your core, and the lower belly draw in, seeing if you can settle your lower back, each vertebra, mid-spine, shoulder blades, back of the head, lowering all the way down. And take your arms out to the sides. As you get there, bend your knees up towards you. And just take a twist, taking your knees over to your left side, turning your head over your right side. Nice full breath in and full breath out. And the next breath in, you can bring your knees back to center, drawing in through the lower belly. Just take a moment there, hug your knees in towards you, squeeze. Inhaling and exhaling. Feeling the knees drawing towards your chest. And then you'll let your arms extend out to the sides again. Take your knees over to your right side. Keeping the left shoulder grounded. You might turn your head over that left shoulder. Allowing the release here in the twist. Letting your body start to melt into the ground. Next breath in. You can use your hands to support you if you like. Bring your knees back to center. And then bring your knees in towards your chest, big squeeze. And centering your body on your mat. Take your feet flat to the floor. We'll come into a bridge. So feet hips distance apart, pressing into your feet and then lifting your hips off the mat. And squeeze the buttocks gently as you press your hips up, creating space perhaps to roll the shoulder blades underneath you. And drawing your tailbone towards your heels as you maybe interlace the fingers. Pressing down through all four corners of your feet, finding that length all the way from your chest, across your hips, across your thighs. Breathe into that space. Couple more breaths here. And taking your hands out from underneath you. And again, you might find a little more space by lifting up onto your toes as you roll your spine down and feeling each vertebra if you can, as you drape your spine back down onto the floor. And as you get there, you can perhaps take the feet wide and let your knees knock in towards each other. If you like, perhaps feet together and knees wide, coming into Supta Baddha Konasana. Creating that space across the front of your hips. Full breath in, full breath out. And we're going to finish with an inversion today. So you can choose, you can either keep your sacrum nice and grounded on the floor and just lift your feet up, and particularly if you're in a menstruating body today, that it's going to be nice to keep your tailbone and your sacrum grounded. If you've got your block or maybe a cushion, you could scoot your hips up and place your block underneath and just have a little bit more height through your pelvis. Or you can bring your hands to your sacrum and come into a half shoulder stand, or perhaps pressing up towards a full shoulder stand if that's feeling available for you today. We have done quite a bit of forward folding and twisting, and you might feel like that is feeling a little more accessible today. Just lifting the hips a little higher, walking your hands towards your mid-spine, drawing the elbows towards each other as you do that, and just making sure that there is no pressure onto the back of your neck. You want to make sure that you're really supporting your body with your shoulders, a little bit of the weight on the back of the head, and the arms supporting as well. And if you're up in your shoulder stand and you want to come towards plow, you can take your feet towards the floor behind your head. Perhaps extending the arms up too. And breathing into the back of your body. And perhaps here you bend your knees, bringing the knees down beside the ears. You can even wrap your hands around your legs. Deaf man's pose. This real drawing in of everything towards the center. And slowly releasing wherever you are. You can start to lower your spine back down to the ground again, using your hands on the ground beside you or to your lower back for support. Lowering the spine down nice and slowly, using your core, your pelvic floor to lower that body down nice and gently. And again, you can take your feet wide and knees knocking in towards each other here. You might come into Supta Baddha Konasana again. And just taking a few breaths to allow your body to be grounded on the floor. And then any last little movements that you might need to take. So maybe some circles with your knees in one direction and back the other way. Maybe there's a shape that your body's feeling like it needs. And whenever you feel ready to, you can extend your legs to come into Shavasana, into corpse, into a final relaxation, letting your feet flop wide, your arms rest a little away from your body. Maybe you have a rolled up blanket or a cushion underneath your knees. However you need to support yourself here. Letting your eyes softly close, perhaps placing something over your eyes. And taking a few nice conscious releasing breaths here, inhaling fully through your nose. And then opening your mouth and letting the breath out as a sigh. Let's do 2 more of those. Inhale. See if you can really extend the exhale with that sound. And again, inhaling. And exhaling. Next breath in, just let it be natural. Letting go of any control of your breath. And just noticing the natural movement. And the breath in and the breath out, and the little spaces between. Perhaps noticing where you feel that breath most strongly. Noticing the length of your breath and the depth of your breath. Letting the breath be an anchor for you to stay with the present moment. Perhaps noticing how the mind so easily starts to become untethered, moving off into that external world, planning, replaying, remembering, imagining. Let each breath be an invitation to come back, to turn in to this experience right now in this moment. Loka samasta sukhino bhavantu. Loka samasta sukhino bhavantu. Loka samasta sukhino bhavantu. Om Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. And so, of course, you're welcome in your own space to stay in Shavasana for as long as you like. If you're ready to move, you can start to take a deeper breath. You wiggle your fingers and your toes a little bit first. Perhaps having a stretch. Roll yourself over to one side, just taking a moment to rest there on the side of your body. And then use your hands as support to bring yourself back up into a seat. And closing out our practice with a nice long spine, perhaps bringing the palms of your hands together in front of your heart. And this reminder to keep bringing everything back into the center, into the heart space, into this feeling body. Whenever things start to feel overwhelming, you can always come back to feel the next breath. Let that bring you back to the present. So powerful. You might like to offer your practice up in some way. Maybe there's someone out there that you know might need some positivity today. And we'll close this practice off with the sound Om together, and you can either listen or join in with this. So taking a full breath in. Om. Bring your thumbs to the space between your eyebrows, that connection with your own deepest wisdom. bringing your thumbs to your heart, your connection with all those around you. And then taking a bow forwards, honor your connection with the earth. And thank you everyone so much for joining me in this practice this morning, and I hope you have a wonderful day. If you have any questions at all, then it's time to write it in the